everyone, it's Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. I recently watched some things I wish I'd started sooner videos, and I thought that I have some of my own things like that I wish I'd done sooner as it relates to skincare and hair care, so I wanted to share those with you. For reference, I am 33. I have combination skin with an oily T-zone and some dry areas, especially the cheeks. I do have some fine lines. I'm super prone to freckles, and I'm just very fair. My skin isn't sensitive, but it's reactive, meaning that, let's say, scratching an itch or just applying too much pressure or anything like that turns it red. And I also burn very, very quickly in the sun. These are in no particular order, not rated by importance. These are just things that I wish I'd done sooner. One of them being using watery layers and not just creams on my skin. When I came to the world of K-beauty about 6 years ago, it's not like I was a skincare amateur. I mean, I was an amateur, I'm not a professional, but I wasn't super new to skincare. I was already used to washing my face every night, putting on some sort of cream or lotion, and then doing some kind of SPF product in the morning. Not to any merit of my own. It's not that I knew how important sunscreen was, let's say, for anti-aging. It was more that I burned so quickly that I knew I needed something. But I was doing just that. I was washing my face and I was putting cream on at night, and that just wasn't enough. And now, as I get older, also my skin is a little more dry. It needs some extra plumpness, etc., etc. So now I'm doing all these watery layers like toners, essences, serums, and I think those would have really helped me even in my early 20s. And in my teens, I could have introduced toners and serums that are more targeted for breakouts and teenage skin, maybe something with centella or something with mugwort, instead of just using creams and then putting on tons and tons and tons of foundation in the morning on my forehead, trying to cover up the zits. The next couple things I wish I'd done earlier go hand in hand. It is using SPF products with higher than SPF 15 protection rating, and then using UPF clothing, because I really don't like to put sunscreen on my body. I mean, I did it if it was beach days or anything like that, but even on beach days, sometimes it just didn't occur to me. I remember when I was 16, my dad took us to Disney World, and it was amazing. And it was March, it's spring break, right around St. Patrick's Day, so it wasn't super hot. There was one really good, warm, sunny day, and we hit up the water park, and we all burned to a crisp, except for my mom's face, because her daily lotion had SPF something, maybe SPF 30. I think at the time she was using Olay. So even with that, it didn't click. Oh, it's March and we can burn any time. I think it would have saved me a lot of pigmentation issues later in life had I been using sunscreen religiously. Not that it's all lost, you can still make an improvement, but especially with UPF clothing, I wear now gloves when I'm driving because I'm trying to protect the delicate skin on the backs of the hands. And my mom was asking me somewhat recently, like before the summer, hey, what do I do for the hands? I have some pigmentation. She's fair just like I am. Not as fair, but fair. And I got her some gloves. My favorite ones are Coolie Bar, and she's saying that, yep, she sees the difference. Just hiding her hands from the sun is making a difference. So I definitely wish I had started that earlier. I think maybe it would have saved me some pigmentation, because pigmentation is very, very difficult to address and reverse once you get it, and it takes years in the making. We're not getting pigmentation in our late 20s, early 30s, 40s because that's when it happened. No, it's cumulative damage over a lifetime that pops up by the time we're 30 or so. The next thing I wish I'd started earlier is Rogaine. And I have zero qualms talking about hair loss. I know it's a sensitive topic. For some people, it is not a sensitive topic for me. I mean, it is sensitive in a sense that I hate having thinning hair. I hate seeing my scalp shine like a flashlight in pictures. I hate all of it, but I don't feel any sort of shame talking about it. In fact, I wish more people would talk about it. But Rogaine, I started that at the end of July. And after about a month or so of usage, if it's working, you will see some shedding. It's not making your hair necessarily fall out more than it normally would. This is the hair you would shed already, but it shifts the cycle of your hair growth, and so it makes hair that would have fallen out more slowly over the next few weeks sort of shed out at once. It is not a fun thing to go through, I'll tell you. But Rogaine is something that can be very effective for just age-related and genetic-related hair loss. And usually, I've been consuming a lot of hair loss content recently, but the dermatologists seem to all say that by the time you notice hair loss, by the time you notice hair thinning, you already lost 40% of your hair. I have 2 kids, that doesn't help with hair at all. I have some thyroid issues, that doesn't help with hair at all. And of course, if you have hair loss, go see a professional. But with something like this, usually the sooner you start, the better. It is not okay to use while pregnant, and I think nursing, don't quote me on that, check with your healthcare professional if you're one of those things. But I haven't been pregnant or nursing for at least a year and a half. I quit nursing about a year and a half, or closer to 2 years ago now. So I could have been using this for 2 years, and I wasn't. I wish I had, because now maybe it would have been better, you know, because I feel like I've lost more hair now, and it would have been kind of nice to stop that process in its tracks and use this. And once you start using it, you're basically committed. Like, if you quit it, you lose the results. It takes at least 4 months to see anything, so I'm not quite there yet. I will be making a video about Rogaine specifically and my experience, etc., etc., and some tips, and I have some other hair products that I use that help, and so on. I'm just not ready to talk about results yet because I'm not seeing results yet. I mean, I've shed my hair. That's the results that I have. Not a fun thing. But this is definitely something I wish I had started earlier. And I will say one thing though, because it'll take me months probably to release the actual Rogaine / hair growth video. If you are going to do Rogaine, and if your healthcare professional is okay with it, get the 5%. Don't bother with the lower percentages, and the ones for men are cheaper. And I don't know why, other than pink tax, but the ones for men are cheaper, and it's even cheaper if you get the Kirkland brand. You can get 6 bottles for the cost of 3 bottles of the Rogaine brand. Next are the Sleep and Glow pillows. Not a sponsored video by any means. I do have a coupon code with them. I have 2 of their pillows. One of them I've been using for over a year. This is how it went. I got it as PR, but it was PR because I reached out to them. I kept hearing Dr. Dre and even Robert Walsh talk about these Sleep and Glow pillows, and I got the one that is made for side sleepers because that's what I am. I'm a side sleeper, and the side sleeper Sleep and Glow has these little grooves on the side, so when you're lying down on your side, it still supports you here and here, but it's not smushing your face there. So there's some vanity benefits to that, right? Less smushing, fewer wrinkles, especially if you prefer to sleep on one specific side. Usually as we age and you're only sleeping on one specific side, people like skincare professionals, dermatologists, cosmetologists, they can actually tell which side you're sleeping on because it has some more changes than the side you're not sleeping on. However, all of that is great and stuff, but that's not why I wish I had that pillow earlier. It really helps with my neck and shoulder pain. It is so supportive. It's memory foam, which I typically don't like. I don't like memory foam mattress toppers. They're too soft for me. But this is firm in the right way. It is still, it contours your head nicely. It hasn't lost any of its volume in the year that I've used it. It's just amazing. And then recently, about 2 months ago now, a month and a half ago, I've gotten their pillow that's made for back sleepers. I am not a back sleeper. I aspire to be a back sleeper because, again, for vanity reasons, that is absolutely the best, especially when it comes to chest wrinkles right here for those of us who have, you know, assets there. So when you're sleeping on your side, everything is kind of smushed. You get that line there that tends to not go away eventually. And so the back sleeper pillow is amazing. I finally learned to sleep on my back. I don't do it every night still, but it's also my go-to for when I'm listening to meditation or when I'm using my LED mask. It's just so nice. It kind of cradles your head, and it has these side bumpers that if your head starts to loll back and forth as you're falling asleep, it sort of catches you so you don't get into this uncomfortable neck position. So I wish I had gotten those earlier because they're really, really good. And if I had to pay my own money, now that I've tried them and I know how amazing they are, I would buy them with my own money. My next tip is probably boring, but it's true. I wish I'd done double cleansing sooner because it is, to me, the most gentle, effective way to remove all of sunscreen and makeup and everything else that might have stuck to our skin during the day that we don't want to be there overnight. I always washed my face. I mean, as far as I remember, maybe not as a small child, but you know, as a preteen, teenager, early 20s and everything else, I washed my face every night, but I was just using foaming cleansers, and those just do not do a good enough job. There are some all-in-one cleansers that are meant to dissolve sunscreen and makeup, and there's some that are effective, but I still prefer the double cleanse because it is just amazing. There's nothing better than that feeling of relaxation as you put on an oil balm or a cleansing oil and just start kind of melting the day off. It is so relaxing. It is so fantastic. I only do it at night. I don't wash my face in the morning at all. Sometimes I'll do water or like a toner pad, but I don't do cleansers in the morning. But at night, it is fantastic, and I wish I had done it sooner because I didn't discover that until I was in my 20s already, and it was a game changer. And I think it would have been a game changer when I was a teenager. Again, all those breakouts. My skin wasn't even bad. I mean, by conventional standards, I didn't have acne. I didn't have like big painful red splotches or anything, but I could see it. Maybe nobody else noticed it, and in most pictures you can't really tell, but I remember vividly panicking about gym class because I thought, well, I don't want to wear makeup during gym because of sweat, but how am I going to not wear makeup during gym if my forehead is so broken out? So I did have my own inner teenage turmoil when it comes to skin. It just probably wasn't as significant as, let's say, my husband's. He has acne scars all over still. They're not super noticeable, thankfully, but they're there, and it's all over his back also. So there are definitely people who had more severe problems, but for me, my own problems were severe enough to affect my self-esteem. Next is devices. I wish I had started those earlier. Although I started with microcurrent, I think almost as early as was possible. It was a newer thing at the time. And I started with a NuFace brand. At the time, they were the only microcurrent device on the market. I got mine at Costco for a fairly good price, but I hated their gel and I didn't really love the bulky base. I mean, at the time it was okay because there were no alternatives, but then Foreo came on the market, and first their cleansing brushes were all the rage, and that's okay. I don't mind it. I have one. I have the little one, and it's fine. But this is the Bear. I love it. There's a Bear Mini. This is the regular Bear. I like it because it holds a charge forever. I've charged it like one time in over a year, and I use it quite a bit. But it's a really good face toning device. It's supposed to be like a workout for your muscles. I have a whole routine video demonstrating how to use it. It makes a big difference. You do have to use it regularly to maintain that difference and to keep that difference. It's not something that you just do for a month and then abandon forever, but it does make the face look less puffy and just more, what do the kids say now, snatched? Makes it look more snatched. It just makes everything look tighter and kind of more toned and less puffy, and it made a difference in my forehead lines also. That's my biggest kind of area of concern. That's where I had my first fine lines, were on my forehead. Now I have fine lines in the smile lines also. You can see when I smile, it's right there, and sometimes when I stop smiling, that thing sticks around for a little bit too long. It just doesn't bounce right back. So I wish I had this earlier. This is at least the NuFace. I haven't checked with Foreo, but the NuFace is not okay to use while pregnant. NuFace told me that. It wasn't on their website, but I emailed them when I was pregnant with my son. They told me no because of the microcurrent. Some people do use it while pregnant. Always consult your medical professional. I didn't use it while pregnant, but in between kids, I did, and this is better in my opinion. And then another one that I wish I had earlier is this Mediube. This is really cool. It combines light therapy, and then there's like a warmth to it. Also, I have a full review. I'm not a scientist, so I don't make it a point to memorize all the reasons why this works. I just know that it works. And what it does is it makes especially the jawline look so much tighter. Jowls are probably like my biggest fear. I don't quite have them yet, but not to say that I won't. Jowls, this whole just like lower area of the face, the double chin is not my favorite feature of me, and some of it is for sure hereditary. That is not even related to weight. It's better, it gets better as I lose weight, but it doesn't ever fully go away. And even my daughter, who is absolutely perfect in every single way, still, like at some angles on pictures you could just see it there, and like my mom has that, my grandma has that, we just all have it, and I don't love it. So this device, I use it all over the face. It's supposed to help with wrinkles, and I feel like it does. It also is warm as you use it, and again, I have a full review, you can check that out. But I feel like it makes such a huge difference when I use it along the jawline, kind of like this, and then I also go under and use it on the double chin area, and that's where I would also use the Foreo, but I feel like this one actually makes a bigger difference. I mean, I kid you not, I will see the difference right away. Like right after use, it just looks like just, I don't know, lifted. I love this. I wish I had this sooner because it really does help. And could you maybe use like a sling type chin mask? I don't know if you've seen those. To me, those are gimmicky and terrible. They do give some sort of sometimes temporary kind of tightening, very, very, very temporary. So maybe like before a special event or before family pictures, if you're really insecure about this area like I am, you can try that. I remember with my wedding pictures and some family pictures, my only requirement for the photographer, because they'll ask you sometimes like, well, what do you want, what kind of poses, whatever, and I would say, I don't want a double chin. And climb up to the ceiling if you need to and take it from a super high angle. I don't want a double chin. That's like my biggest face insecurity, that and the hair. Okay, so I wish I had this and I wish I had that. And then last but not least, something I wish I had started earlier, and this is going to probably start a controversy because it always does, but it's eye care. I'm not saying you have to have a dedicated eye cream, okay? That is a hotly debated topic in the skincare community. So many people say, no, eye creams are just overpriced, moisturizers in tiny jars. Could you use regular moisturizer? Sure. Was I using anything on my eyes? No, like not anything. I wasn't using anything for years. Even when I started getting into K-beauty, I wouldn't put anything on my eyes because I have hooded, oily eyelids, and putting anything on there would just like migrate down into my eyes. It would irritate the heck out of everything, and I hated it. But now I learned several years ago that you really shouldn't put eye cream right here. You shouldn't put it on the mobile part of your lid. You should put it under and then along the orbital bone right here. And if you put it right there, it will migrate where it needs to go. That's fine. But if you start it where it needs to go, it'll migrate directly to your eyeball. And that's what was happening to me. So I feel like I neglected the skin around my eyes for too long, and I also wasn't putting any sort of SPF around there either. I do now, but I wasn't for a very long time. And I wonder if maybe if I did that, if I had a better skincare routine that included my eye area also, it maybe would look better now. I don't think it's terrible necessarily. The hoods are not getting any better with age. But I also am seeing more dark circles. Some of that is just structural. My kids even have that. But some of it is lack of sleep, and some of it is probably the skin thinning around there. One of my favorite things I've been using recently is this Haruharu Wonder Black Rice Bakuchiol eye cream. It's very rich, but it's not annoying. It's not greasy or sticky, and it stays where it should go. So it doesn't drip into my eyes or leak into my eyes. I use it only at night because still in the morning I only do SPF around the eyes, and that's enough for my eye area. I feel like it's plumping nicely the fine lines that I tend to get. And don't let the video fool you. Sometimes people will be like, well, what black circles I don't see any, or what wrinkles I don't see any. I have a really good semi-professional light here that I bought this year or maybe last year, sometime recently-ish, right? I got this really good light. It is positioned in the most flattering way. My camera is positioned in the most flattering way that I could find, even though sometimes it looks flattering in the viewfinder and then I go to edit videos and just want to cry. That happened a few times also. One time I did cry actually, but then I still put them all up because I didn't want to reshoot 5 videos. So, anyway, don't let, this is not like real life. This is staged. This is the highlight reel. This is not behind the scenes. But I do wish I had more eye area care in my younger days. Just something super basic, just a very basic moisturizer, very basic SPF. And I think that probably would have made a difference now. It's not too late. I mean, I'm using what I can now. It looks okay to me, but I think it probably would have been better. That's all I have for you today as far as things I wish I had started a little bit sooner. I guess I could put Tread in there also, but I actually don't think I could have started it much sooner. Maybe once I was done having kids, so I guess I could have done it maybe 3 years ago or so, right when I was 30. But it just wasn't on my radar, and I was getting my own skincare routine under control and testing lots of things. I know now what works and what doesn't, and I think I started tread at a pretty good time. But that's another thing that maybe some people don't start soon enough. But either way, if you have your own suggestions or if you have any questions, please leave me a comment. I love seeing those. I love reading them. I try to get back to every single one of you. You can find me on Instagram at KBeautyHobbit, my blog, KBeautyHobbit.com, in my skincare group, Korean Beauty Fanatics on Facebook. I will see you in my next video. And until then, please remember to always listen to your skin. Thank you so much. Bye.